first ban, banning out the Nocturne straight away. And so that's Nocturne, relatively fast jungler, really fast jungler actually, and just really excels going straight in for those quick ganks with the ultimate, and can really excel going straight towards the back line. So we may see TCM do a pretty long-ranged AD carry, or even we've seen a lot of Kog'Maw play, we've seen a lot of Urgot play, and neither one being banned just yet. Jax and Kassadin also banned out. Kassadin a pretty good I see Kassadin as a very common solo queue ban as well, because a lot of people are afraid of the snowball on him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of it comes down to the players, so I'm assuming that one of the TCM guys is known for his Kassadin. I think he's just an all-around annoying champion. We've started to see him coming back into play, and it's actually really cool to do Gold Pretend Kassadin. If you haven't tried it out yet, you start off with a number of Gold Pretend items. You get a fast, Philosopher's Stone in particular, Heart of Gold, and Cage's Lucky Pick. They both work very well. So you can start off with 3 full Gold Pretends if you like. Get a quick tier somewhere in the middle of that, or try and get all 3 out and a tier. And just farm for a while, and then, through the mid-game and whatnot, you try and take over. The big thing is his farm can be tough to get going, but he's a lot of fun. Jax being banned, Urgot being banned, Nocturne being banned, so the 3 of the strongest OP champions in the game being banned out for TCM, and they're actually going to first pick Shen.
Yeah, Shen, more top lane and jungle, versatile. We can go ahead and we're going to find out where Shen will be going as soon as the picks progress along. Lee Sin and Karthus also being grabbed. Karthus, a pretty big monster in the mid, but I feel Pinky Jones might be getting a little bit ahead of themselves picking Karthus so early. It could potentially lead to a disaster in the mid.
Well, the big thing with Karthus is he basically loses the lane to everybody, but he can farm against almost everybody. So you expect to lose the lane against Karthus, or as Karthus. Ahri beats Karthus very well, actually is a very strong counter to Karthus. Because they have Shen, the concern is that if we see a heavy melee team, then Karthus kind of counters that out pretty well. You're right, they probably should have gone with support early, and so you do see that Ahri pick versus the Karthus. Karthus doesn't have the mobility to deal with Ahri.
No.
Ahri can just kind of chase her down, try and pick up those kills. They're actually going to grab Graves instead. So Graves, definitely just an all-around strong bot lane champion. Not a whole lot of counters to Graves, and so they're fine with grabbing Graves, and then they can pick up Ahri in the next pick.
Yeah, Ahri, it's not like Pinky Jones is going to go ahead and grab 2 APs like that. Ahri top lane, it could be really iffy, but
I've seen it with TSM. I've seen a couple of people run Ahri versus Shen, but it is kind of iffy. You always have to deal with the low survivability of Ahri early in the game, and the fact that you don't have any escapes. But it has been run before a number of times.
Yeah, but it's rather, it's more safe.
It is unusual.
Yeah, it is unusual, but it's more safe to just grab Graves, make sure Pinky Jones doesn't get it, and it's not like Ahri's really going to be going anywhere, so it'd be pretty safe to grab her on 4th or 5th.
Yeah, that's true.
So Taric being considered here, and Taric Caitlyn for the bot lane. Interesting choice. Haven't seen a whole lot of Caitlyn lately. But
I'm excited. I was just telling someone the other day that I want to see Caitlyn come back into competitive play, and so the big thing with Caitlyn, she wasn't really nerfed off. It's just that the other ADs were a little bit stronger. Caitlyn, one of the strongest ADs in bot lane. Her range, she can easily harass down most targets. She has a decent amount of burst as well. With Taric, it sets up that nice combo. You have the stun into the trap, pick up a kill that way. But it's a really aggressive bot lane. Here's the thing that Caitlyn really brings, though, is pushing potential. In early game, she's very survivable, has incredible tower range, so when you're trying to push early, as long as you're really aggressive with pushing, you can get a number of early towers, try and snowball off of that. As the game progresses, she does have really nice range, but I don't know, some of the other ADs are just a little bit stronger as far as sustained damage, because it has to do with her base stats and attack speed a little bit. But I don't know, we'll have to see. She's definitely an all-around strong pick.
Yeah, I would love to see more of her as well, seeing as a lot of the meta right now is very safe, far farming champions like Kog'Maw and Varus. I feel that could be definitely where Caitlyn excels. So we'll see how the meta goes from there. And Ahri, Kennen being the last 2 picked up for TCM, meaning Shen is going to be going into the jungle, and top lane for Pinky Jones will more than likely be that Vladimir pick. So Ahri mid, Kennen top. So both teams looking pretty happy with the double APs. So, and Lee Sin is a pretty speedy jungler, dude.
Yeah.
And so he's very, very mobile as well. So may not counteract the mobility on Kennen or Ahri too much, but could make a difference going in for ganks on the bot lane onto Graves and Soraka.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. I think something that Pinky Jones is going to really want to watch out for is Kennen. And Kennen top lane, if it's AP Kennen, then it'll be a pretty even matchup.
Yep.
Vladimir and Kennen can just sit back. But if it's AD Kennen, or if Kennen starts off, builds a couple of Dorans or something for early harass, then Kennen could just absolutely shut down Vladimir. And that's a really aggressive lane. So we'll have to watch out for that. As long as it's AP, it'll generally be safe, but there's a high probability that it could be an AD Kennen. We'll see what's going on with the game in a second, but
yeah, I think
regardless,
sure.
Both teams definitely have really strong comps. I really like the double AP. Karthus and Vladimir is a really common double AP. It works out very well, so it's, I don't know, just generally a fun comp. But they definitely, they have strong lanes all around. As long as they can hold their lanes, as long as they can get themselves into that mid game.
Yep.
They have a lot of snowball potential with Vladimir and Karthus, and then they have pushing potential. If they want to push aggressively early, then they have the Karthus wall to kind of deny and engage. If TCM tries to engage on them, they push with Caitlyn, back off with the Karthus wall. If they try and do a hard engage, then we just have the Karthus and Vladimir AoE to just absolutely destroy team fights. So it's an all-around pretty cool team.
And so you said a little bit of a crash there in champs. Like sometimes you try to swap champs and sometimes things happen, but we should be back into it all shortly. So recapping picks and bans, TCM has banned out Nocturne, Jackson, Urgot. Pinky Jones has banned out Cassin, Morgana, and Janna. So Shen, Graves, Soraka, Ahri, Kennen for TCM. So a good fair amount of mobility on TCM. And Pinky Jones, Lee Sin, Karthus, Taric, Caitlyn, Vlad. You got some nice individual champs in there, so it's just going to be we'll have to see if any one of them shines out. Hopefully Lee Sin is able to make some work somewhere.
Well, like you said, the TCM's team is very mobile, and so the double AP, you have a lot of AoE damage, but against mobile teams, you could kind of struggle. And so you see the Karthus pick in particular is standard against like a heavy melee team or a close range team. You just kind of destroy them with your AoE. But then you have to consider that, when we have all this mobility, we're going to have the kill potential from Ahri. We're going to have, everyone's going to be able to kite in and out of fights, just jump around the outside, and maybe not go down as quickly as Pinky Jones would like them to.
Yep. And also, Karthus in the mid, a nice little just soft counter to the Karthus is always a Soraka. It's like, oh, Karthus is ulting. Soraka might as well ult as well, trying to mitigate as much of that damage as possible. There's a lot of people out there who say that Soraka is not really ult for ult. Sometimes may not be that much, but in a pinch, a quick heal can do absolute wonders for your team. And not to mention, there's also the summoner heal on Graves as well. Actually, just, Caitlyn's got the summoner heal too. So bot lane actually looking. Oh, it's Caitlyn Graves. If Taric does get the money stuns off, though, Caitlyn could do quite a bit of work if traps are timed well.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of kill potential there when we have the follow-up with the armor debuff from Taric and then the Piltover Peacemaker from Caitlyn. There's just a lot of quick burst damage, and it's just generally an all-around safe lane, so it should be pretty interesting to see how that lane kind of progresses.
So the game is loading on up, so we shall see what goes on. Ahri in the mid, Kennen in the top lane, Karthus, Vlad. So two double APs, lots of damage output available, and pretty huge bursts. Ahri, Kennen together could be a huge, just ugly sandwich once that starts rolling. But Shen in the jungle, talked about this before, not the fastest dude, but once he hits 6, you got the shield, he can be anywhere he needs to be. So once again, speaking to the mobility of TCM, and we will be getting into this game shortly.
Yeah, and the big thing with Pinky Jones's team is they recognize they have generally pretty safe lanes. Mid is definitely a concern, Ahri versus Karthus, but otherwise they should be pretty safe. But if they start, to amp up any aggression, try and pick up kills, which is, probably what they're trying to do with such an aggressive team, then we have to follow up with the Shen. And the counter jungling, or the counter engage initiation from Shen is just so powerful. A lot of times you kind of disregard it. But I don't know, we'll have to see. Lee Sin can get an early advantage onto Shen, will be a pretty aggressive jungler. Could see a early gank. The concern is, like you said, who is he going to be ganking? And Soraka is probably the most vulnerable of anyone on the team. Otherwise, I would say that TCM is very safe. But if we get a Taric stun onto Soraka, they should have enough burst damage to try and take her down pretty quickly.
Yeah, is Lee Sin going for ganks mid or top? Like mid, if Lee Sin wants to gank mid, he's got to do it before 6. Otherwise, Ahri has the ult, and she's just going to go ahead and escape away. Kennen, not really going to happen too much so. But then again, there's also always the opportunity for Lee Sin to just stick around, farm up, because if a lot of the lanes are being pressured from Pinky Jones, that's going to force Shen to ult, and that's going to force Shen to be away from farming. So if the aggression is there, Lee Sin can just go ahead and out-farm Shen if necessary.
Yeah, definitely, and it's interesting. We actually see Graves starting with that Doran's Blade. So, with the Taric bot lane, the health will give them a little bit more survivability, but it's kind of surprising because I would normally expect to see boots against Caitlyn. Because see, here's the thing. With the Doran's Blade, they know that they're going to have enough regen with Soraka, so regen isn't an issue. You don't need the 3 health pots like you normally go boots for. However, Caitlyn vastly has a much stronger range than Graves. It's about 100. It might be 100. I think it's 650 to 550. I know Graves is 550, but I think Caitlyn's 650. So she has 100 extra range than Graves does early in the game. And what that means is it's going to be extremely difficult for Graves to exchange harass. Caitlyn can just, sit there and attack him whenever he comes in for creeps, back off for a second, and be really aggressive in that lane and slowly wear him down. Then if we get Taric into the mix, he gets a stun off. We don't have enough movement speed onto Graves in order to get away from it. We have the dash, so the dash will definitely work out. But with the boots onto Caitlyn, she could trade harass very well with Graves as long as she's really aggressive about it.
Not to mention, if Graves really starts to push, the passive on Graves is going to proc it, a little bit extra armor, get a little bit extra resist, and Soraka's always nearby with the heals. So it could go either way, and there we see already straight away Graves is getting pretty aggressive here. 778 health. How much health does Caitlyn have? 506. So that's a nearly 700 health advantage. 300 health advantage for Graves, just straight out. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, in 1v1 situations, Graves is going to be vastly superior to Caitlyn. And, Caitlyn doesn't want to just trade up with him right out. You want to slowly harass him down. And Caitlyn should have the range, so as long as she positions appropriately and then attacks him whenever he comes in for creeps, she can get that early advantage. The other lanes are mostly going to be farm. If you check Kennen's stats real quick, because we didn't have a chance to check that earlier.
No, we did not.
Just see. So it is going to be a little bit of an AD Kennen. So it starts off with AD, but I think he's going to transition into AP. So this is a pretty common Kennen build. You go for the AP build, which is going to be very strong in team fights later in the game. But then you get a little bit of AD damage early. So the early AD damage, and Kennen has really high base stats, will allow you to trade very effectively in a lane such as Vlad. Can try and harass him down a little bit, but Vlad playing pretty safely so far, so should be okay.
Also, take a look at Karthus in the mid as well. Ahri 18, Karthus 7. Getting pretty badly beat out, and not to mention the lane is pushed into Ahri right now. So Ahri's doing what she can to freeze the lane close to her tower, force Karthus that if he wants to get any creeps, he's got to push up, and there's stun going quick down on to Soraka. But traps not coming out from Caitlyn, not going to go ahead and press this. And TCM being very aggressive bot tower. But yeah, mid, Ahri shutting down Karthus nearly outright from the get-go.
Yeah, we see Caitlyn just, falling behind to Graves. Graves with some really effective play, able to get those buckshots off to the face. Caitlyn not really using her positioning as well as she could be. And so we see a quick advantage. In the spam ability, we actually have Lee Sin jumping onto Taric. There's the quick burst.
Nice.
Just dropping her almost instantly. And that's the concern is Soraka, how little survivability Soraka has in that bot lane. I was thinking that with the armor, she might survive a little bit longer than that, but
nope.
That's, So really quick kill there, really nice job.
Yeah, Soraka was a little bit out of position, and Lee Sin knew better than to take the way around through the river. Obvious, wards went down from both teams. Taric saw the wards going down in front of Dragon, and was like, you know what, okay, Lee Sin, if you want to come in, you got to go the long way around, and there's the mobility from Lee Sin. Safeguard to an ally, got the Tempest off, that's all the burst damage necessary in order to take out Soraka. So it would be in Lee Sin's best interest to continue going down to the bot lane, because now at this point, Ahri's almost 6, Kennen's just rough to gank as at all. So it may benefit Whisper to just keep on visiting mid and camping out, keep on visiting bot and keep on camping bot.
I mean, they definitely have a lot of kill potential, so
yeah.
That's something that Soraka's going to have to watch out for. She'll probably play a little bit more defensively. You know, they are pushed up, and so this is one of the benefits of the Graves Soraka lane is you can push so aggressively. Graves can just constantly wear on this tower, and so because they're pushed up, they don't have to worry about Lee Sin hiding in one of these bushes. So we don't have to worry about that as much. But you even saw Lee Sin just jumping down the lane is so quick and so aggressive. We see Whisper coming once again to try and give a gank off for Descartes. So see if he can get a little bit of help. We're probably going to see some aggression from Kennen since he's level 6. Yep. Lee Sin trying to get in, not really going to get anything done.
Safeguard to the Vlad just to mitigate some of the damage. But bot lane though, the ward over by Dragon is gone, so Soraka Graves are going to be a little bit more, a little bit less safe here. If we can refresh the ward over Dragon and somehow get a ward into that tri-bush, Graves and Soraka could just go ahead and continue the push unless Lee Sin decides to get a little bit hairy and actually go through from behind them. So, but it's very possible Lee Sin may just take similar paths next time he's down here. Let's see, check in on mid again. Ahri 50, Karthus 21. The creep lead for Ahri continues to extend, but Karthus is 6. Ult is available. If someone gets pretty low, Karthus can go ahead and grab that kill, but Tarek has to go back, gotta go back and buy. TCM continues to push down here, and there's the Lee Sin once again. Will we get aggressive? Here he comes, waiting for the wave. We're looking to fish something off of the Soraka, but the wave will not land. Safeguard to the Caitlyn, and TCM's going to go ahead and back off.
But as a result, we see Farfane coming up, going to steal the red from Lee Sin. So a really nice play there. He knows he has plenty of time to take it down.
Yeah.
Now, one of the concerns with this Karthus Ahri lane, not only is Ahri doing very effectively early on, Karthus unfortunately missing some CS, and so he has enough range where he should be able to keep up with farm, but he's kind of scared of Ahri right now. Once Karthus tries to hit 6, and he is 6, tries to get off that ultimate, then all of a sudden we're going to see Ahri just dive him and burst him down, throw off the charm before he can get the ult off. So it's really not going to help him at all, and that lack of mobility, he's never going to really get a good opportunity unless he can sit back out of vision, get off the ult that way. But it's going to be pretty difficult, but we see Farfane coming up in the top lane. He has the red buff. We see Kungan as well. We get the nice little red buff proc onto Vladimir. Vladimir going down very quickly. We do get the stun. Kungan getting a little bit low, but there's the ultimate and the taunt immediately, not giving Karthus an opportunity to use any abilities.
And there we go. Quick kills coming up top lane. Vladimir does not really have many options. He could have ulted. He could have ulted to try and take Kennen down.
But
with him.
The chain stun into the taunt, protect him long enough, and we do see Whisper stealing the red again. So Shen was up top. Really nice play by Lee Sin to come down, take that red. So a little bit of payback there, but regardless, it is 1-1 now. We will start to see, maybe some amped up aggression from Lee Sin. He definitely wants to try and get ganks, and he's the playmaker. We have the Karthus as well. Going to pass off the blue to Karthus, which, will help him with farming a lot, but he's already struggling so much, and the concern is then if you, die and pass it off to Ahri. But, regardless, you have to give Karthus the blue.
Yeah, Karthus is definitely extremely mana hungry. I mean, look at his mana actually already. It's still ridiculously low. He needs that if he even wants to stand a chance against Ahri, but he's doing the good thing, not dying needlessly. So, still though, a full level behind Ahri at the moment. Just all the creeps really making the difference, and just the superior farming from TCM could absolutely mean the difference later on. I mean, you can tell it's 1-1, but there's nearly a 2K lead from TCM, and that's just practically all farm.
Yeah, and if you look at top lane, we were watching them some earlier, and Vladimir, he seems like he's been doing a pretty good job against Kennen. Kennen hasn't been able to harass him down, but we actually see Tarek with the stun here. We have some quick damage on the CAT scan. They will be able to chase him off a little bit, but this is a one lane with Graves and Soraka because of the regen now. Now Vladimir in the top lane, he hasn't been harassed down that much by Kennen. We've seen Kennen generally harassed down a little bit lower, but the big thing is that Kennen, he's just looking to shut down farm, and so Vladimir's looking to kind of harass him a little bit, and he's missing out on CS, and Kennen is perfectly fine with that. He's going to take that farm advantage and, take that for a win.
Whisper coming back up to the top lane. Kennen being pushed to tower, but not for very long, though. The creeps will eventually push, and Whisper's just waiting for his opportunity to grab another gank. But last time, though, Kennen and Shen did get the jump on Vlad, so now it's time for a little bit of payback if Kennen gets a little bit too aggressive. But the Shen ult from the start, Lee Sin is actually still in the neighborhood, never had a chance. The Dragon Kick going off onto Kennen, but the Vlad ult will finish the little rodent. But Farfane and Lee Sin on Whisper doing a little bit of extra damage. It's like, hey, our jungle is up here too, but not doing too much and not being able to prevent the massive damage coming in from TCM.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Karthus not in a safe position to ult. So
No.
at the beginning of the fight, if he had ulted, maybe pick up that Kennen kill a little bit faster so that Vladimir lives, then they can sustain against Shen. But there was the threat of Ahri. She did leave to go top, but for a short period of time, she was down, close to the mid. And Karthus kind of a little bit defensive. We've seen a quick burst though from Graves. And that's the issue. Caitlyn just getting low, taking constant harass in this bottom lane, falling behind on farm, and then also, taking the buckshot to the face. And
Yeah,
now we
never a
see
good thing.
the BF sword for Graves versus the double Dorans and the Vamp Scepters. So Caitlyn, will have a little bit more sustain advantage, which will be nice, but she's not really trading harass that effectively. So in these mid-game fights that we're going to start seeing, she's going to be way behind. We have the Karthus wall. We have the jump from Lee Sin. We're going to get the Q, but the perfect dodge from Ahri. Going to get out of there, and then coming back into Karthus, actually. Oh, if she had hit that Q, I think she probably would have jumped in once again for the ult. Would have been able to pick up that kill onto Karthus. So she is going to be safe, though, just taking control of this lane.
Hey, she can still just go ahead, push the lane, get the Fox right on the charm, just barely doesn't hit. But Shen is close by. Could go ahead and is ult on Shen up? No, but he just go ahead and taunt right through the wall if so desired. But they're actually right through the wall, right from the Wraith's camp, and Lee Sin has no choice but to safeguard to Karthus to just avoid being killed. But 4 members of TCM are here in the mid, looking to take the tower outright, pressing the objectives, and Caitlyn, bot lane, just looking to continuously farm. Kungan, can you get the damage? No, you cannot. Flash from Vlad will keep you safety, but yeah, tier 1 in mid is now gone, and the push continues. Kaskan has no option but to leave the bot. There's still a pretty hefty wave that will be pushing, and this can just go right into TCM, right into their lunchbox as soon as they head down, and Shen, Farfane, starting on the Dragon.
Yeah, and so they're going to be able to pick up this Dragon pretty easily, unless Pinky Jones kind of groups up, but we don't have any ward coverage down there. They did see them walk past the one ward in the bush, so they know that they're at it. Vladimir, pretty low against Kennen. We do have the Kennen ult, and along with the Ignite, there's definitely a lot of kill potential there. Oh, just one jump in, if we see it from Kennen, could definitely pick up this kill. Vladimir very low. Oh, wow. But actually, Kennen with the turret shot is probably going to go down now. We do see Kennen going down, so an even trade. But, deciding to just dive in for that kill, make sure to pick up Vladimir as well.
Vlad just barely got the edge of that ult off on Kennen. Kungan, he knew he was going to die. So he was like, might as well just go, commit, get the last hit, make it an even trade at the very least. So, good on Kennen to grab that kill. And with the Dragon, the lead from TCM extends even further. 20k to 14k, 6k gold lead for TCM, and they're just running away with this game straight out. And most of that is just sheerly farm.
Yeah, the lane farm from Pinky Jones leaves a lot to be desired, but we have seen some aggressive lanes from TCM, and that top lane, the Kennen versus Vladimir, now transitioning into that EP Kennen, is definitely a difficult lane for Vladimir to handle. And so we saw some harass. Ahri going to be chasing down Nietzsche here. There's the ultimate, just the quick burst. If she jumps over the wall, doesn't really want to get too caught out. Actually is going to go for it. There's the kill.
There you go. Just waiting for the right moment, make sure no one's nearby. The wall is still up. Karthus is still there doing damage, but flashing over the wall, and there is the Shen ult for the extra protection. Can't get the taunt off on Lee Sin. Lee Sin is now exhausted. Not many places to go when you're like that, and when you're in that situation. Farfane was looking to engage further, but there is Vlad in the mid looking to defend, may not be able to get away, and there is the Graves ult to finish the job, and TCM running away with this one. Huge creep wave coming in. Tier 2 in mid should be going down, and they actually may continue to push all the way into inhibitor here.
Yeah, the nice silence from Soraka to shut down Vladimir. They can just push for the inhibitor if they decide. We actually have the flash taunt from Shen onto Caitlyn. She's going to go down very quickly, just barely able to get out of there with her heal. And so
Karthus ult, do it. Shen is really low.
I don't think he's that low. Karthus
He's
only
low
level
enough.
10.
He's low enough and to at least give it a shot. I mean, at this point, Pinky Jones, they don't have many options.
He actually had like 300 HP, and Karthus ult does like 100 right now, but we do have the stun into Graves, the quick dash going to get him out of there. And so we see some nice bursts, but they will be able to back off.
Yeah, Karthus ult just barely probably would not have gotten it, but it would have put the fear into TCM just a little bit. It's like, oh man, guys, Shen's about to die. Maybe we might want to do something. But even then, it would have been worth a shot just to do it. You have the ult available. They're not going to be... Hasn't really been... Actually, I don't think I've actually seen Karthus ult yet once this game. But there we go. Graves out in the middle. The Vlad ult trying to do some stuff, but triple kill onto Eben Volley here. That's going to be quite a bit of damage. And this should actually be it. That is an ace for TCM. That's going to go ahead and push the wave up. Should be able to grab the tier 3 and inhib as well. Soraka's here. Just go ahead and heal whoever needs it. Unless Soraka decides to take it herself. He heals Ari and starts taking tower aggro. Has to stop for a second. But there we go. Tier 3 will go down as well as the inhib. Tarek is up. Lee Sin's up. And so will the rest of Pinky Jones. But this inhibitor should be gone before then. There's the ult just to clear the creep wave. And there we go, inhibit goes down.
And the big thing is they just know they're so far ahead in farm that, you know, there's not a whole lot that Pinky Jones can do in these team fights. And Pinky Jones has a decent team fight team, but they can't do anything. There's just too much mobility, too much farm. We see Lee Sin chasing after Soraka, just barely trying to get it off the queue. Can maybe do it. We'll have to see. She is all alone, so the rest of the team is in pursuit as well. We have the queue. We're going to have the slow. Some nice damage going to be going on to Wolfie Dabows. But Wolfie DeBoss, I guess, you know, but he is going to be able to get out of there.
Yeah, the Soraka heals just a little bit too strong. It tries to go in for the blue, but Kennen is there. Wisely flashes out just to safety because Kennen, full health, would have easily made work of a Lee Sin 3 levels the minor. There is a little bit of ward coverage coming in here from Pinky Jones just to get a little bit of vision.
Unfortunately, it missed the bush, and so
yeah,
isn't really going to help them out that much.
Yeah, so I can only do so much there. But blue, Ari gonna grab it real quick, and now this is TCM's game to just go ahead and run rampant. 11K advantage in gold. They can just go ahead, group up on Baron, and take it. There's not really a whole lot.
up top.
Yeah, Vlad's up top.
I thought he was going to come in for the Kennen. I was like, what are you thinking? We have the quick dash from Graves, so it is a 2v1. They will have plenty of damage if they decide to take this. We actually have Graves taking the turret for a little bit, just going to slowly wear him down, and they have plenty of damage to take him down. He is corralled. They will have the stun. There's actually the Shen ult coming in. Didn't want Kennen to get too low. Graves going to be able to pick it up with the crit.
Didn't even need the ult. Just one auto attack was actually more than enough to do the job. And now, once again, pressuring objectives, pressuring the towers. TCM should be able to get this one pretty convincingly. There comes the Shen taunt onto Lee Sin. He doesn't have many places to go. The Dragon Kick actually gets all 4 members of TCM. Will he be able to get away? Alas, no. Soraka with the silence will be able to finish the job. And yeah, TCM is just running away with this one. He should be able to actually press in for game. Baron wouldn't even really be a necessity at this point.
Yeah, there's really no reason for them to go for Baron. We actually see some quick kills. Ari, once again, going to be chasing him down. Going to get the charm off. Just going to back off, actually. But even so, yeah, they are just so far ahead. We see, you know, Ari is going to go down, but they get the kill into Karthus, so it doesn't really matter. Graves is going to be pushing down the inhibitor. They will get the inhibitor. And the big thing is they just know that they won all their lanes so hard. And so we had decent lanes from Pinky Jones, just not really able to follow up on it. Just the quick push. They should be able to end this shortly.
Yep, I would have liked to see a lot more focus bot lane from Whisper because that was the best opportunity. But saw Lee Sin quite a bit top lane for things that just did not manage to happen. Kennen got a little bit too strong. Vladimir was not able to follow up, and Shen being anywhere he needs to be in an instant really puts a hindrance in a lot of Pinky Jones' plans. There comes the Kennen ult just to try and finish off any stray members of Pinky Jones. Caitlyn does fall. Minion waves pushing now into the Nexus turrets, and Graves just right there plugging away along with Kennen. Soraka's there for heals for whoever needs it. There's not a whole lot Pinky Jones can do at this moment. Dash trying to get away. Stun and exhaust still going down onto Graves, but still putting out tons of damage onto the stray members of Pinky Jones. There comes a Karthus ult. Will we even get anybody? No. Nice Zonias from Kennen to stay alive.
I don't even know if he needed to zone Yiz, but it was the safe play.
It was safe,
There's not a whole lot of damage on Karthus.
Yeah,
right
it
now.
would have killed him. It would have killed him.
With reduction, it's pretty close. So, Keden's actually pretty low right now.
Yeah.
We'll have to see the Caitlyn
Nice.
The nice little block. Ari actually jumping in to get the charm off. The quick burst. Caitlyn does get out of there, but there's the Ari ult, able to pick up the kill. Ari pretty close to going down, but is going to be able to clean these guys up. There's the Lee Sin. There's the Karthus as well. Can we dodge the Qs?
There was
Didn't
the
even
Penta.
care.
That
Wow.
was the Penta. Who cares? We got the Penta. Looking flashy in the Nexus. So, you know what? At that point, nothing quite really matters. TCM going to go ahead and grab the last Nexus turret and then focus this down. So GG, game 1. Going to be going to TCM Gaming with a very impressive Ari pentakill at the end. Fantastic work. Going to be going on game number 2 and see what Pinky Jones can do and try and come back from this one.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is they just need to farm. So they fell behind in all of their lanes pretty early, and so TCM fine with playing a safe game. They were just sitting back. They're perfectly fine with just out farming them, and then come mid game, they're like, oh, guess what? We have a 10k gold advantage just purely from CS. So let's push that a little bit, and we saw a quick push in. There's just nothing that Pinky Jones could do in team fights at that point because of how far ahead TCM was. Pinky Jones, they didn't really have any strong items. So Caitlyn, she had a BS sword. Karthus, he didn't even finish a Rod of Ages. So, none of them on the team really contributed a whole lot as far as damage or survivability. So we'll have to see how they change that up for game number 2.
Yeah, Ari nearly doubling the CS on Karthus. Graves doubling the CS on Caitlyn. Kennen had a nice 40 creep lead, and Lee Sin just could not... the first gank from Lee Sin was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful, and that's exactly the advantage they needed early on, but just could not really get anything further from there. And I've also been seeing a lot of Lee Sin Riven play as well, picking up like double Dorans now instead of going for things like Wriggles as well.
Yeah, at least Sin for a long time has started off with a double Doran's build, and it definitely works out. You usually start off with the boots, so you have a little bit more mobility. You have the health pots. You can start off with the Dorans at level 1. Particularly since the jungle changes, you're able to do that. The only concern is that you want to get fast levels in order to gank, so having some health pots definitely works for that. And there's not really a whole lot of need for Wriggles. Wriggles does work out well on Lee Sin, but... even so, you want to have a little bit more tankiness and a little bit more dueling pressure. So early on, having that double Dorans allows you to exchange damage very well in fights, allows you to pick up those kills and be more aggressive.
So we will see what Pinky Jones can do in game number 2, see if they can't go ahead and bring this back. But for the time being, we'll be going to a quick commercial break, and we shall be back in just a little bit. IPL5 qualifiers. Today, we are kicking off qualifier number 2. Anyway, it's going to be a good day, and we're going to have a fantastic second qualifier. Hopefully that ends just as fantastically as one did, but hey, we got to go through the brackets first. We got to find out who's going to be making the climb up. So we will be back in just a few minutes, so do please stay tuned.